All right, jumping in to the segment called Wheel of Doom, where we essentially have a bunch of topics on a wheel randomizer. Whatever that lands on, that is the topic we are going to be discussing in the next 10 minutes or so. And we'll see what that runs into.
Wheel of Doom.
Let's shuffle it up, shuffle it up, shuffle it up.
We need more topics too, so leave some comments of some topics for us
Yeah.
to add to the wheel.
Looks like we're getting something with couch.
What?
Was couch multiplayer better
Oh,
than online gaming? Dun dun dun.
that's a fun one.
I mean, us definitely growing up with couch co-op. I'm not sure how many people still do couch co-op nowadays, probably because of the inconvenience of having to have that time to come over to someone's house,
Right.
sit with them and play video games. It's just easier to hop online and play some
Yeah.
games with your friends. And that broadens up to like I can play with someone states away or country away.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
I feel like there's something about being in the same room though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that goes with everything, even just conversations like this. There's something about being in the same room with those people and having that engagement and that connection that really means something to all of us as people that you just don't get when you're just over the headset, houses away or countries away. You don't get that
Hmm.
same connection. The connection is there,
Yeah.
but you don't have that personal, physical interaction, I think. So I do miss coach co-op and or even just LAN parties, having all the guys over here and playing Halo back when it came out. We used to have TV in this room, a TV in the other room, and two TVs in the living room, and even a TV in the crawl space up top. And we would play huge Halo matches, and one person would get blasted by the other person, and they'd come running out of the room to, harass that person that blasted them, and you'd have that interaction, and everyone would be laughing,
Well,
and you
that's
just
neat
want to
because
have that.
it's almost like online, but in the house, like because you don't see
Yeah,
each other because you're in separate
Hmm.
rooms, but you could still hear that reaction. And like you
yeah,
said, if you want, run out. Like if you get shot, you could run into the other room, like mess with the other player. Be like, oh, are you kidding me?
exactly, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
When
Yeah, I
I was
mean,
a kid, I'm sorry, Russ, I didn't mean to
no, yeah,
interrupt
you
you.
go. I didn't know who was going. I got it right
The
here.
when we were when I was younger, I remember a friend of mine had a sleepover, like, birthday
Hmm.
party, and there was probably, like, I don't know, 12 to 15 kids, and in the basement, he had, like, 8 CRTs set up in his basement with different consoles on every TV, and it was planned that this was gonna be, like, a sleepover, just, like, gaming party.
Okay.
So I remember, I can jump on like a Sega Genesis and I had never played a Sega Genesis. I could jump on a Master System. I never played a Master System. And like we would just, whether it was co-op or not,
Hmm.
it was just a group of like 12 to 15 kids like just jumping from console to console and like playing different games. And it was such a good time. Uh, you know, I don't know if you remember this, Russ, but you talk about like also like memories, right? With couch co-op versus, online play. I don't remember how long ago this was, but do you remember when I think it was Double Dragon Neon had come out?
Yeah.
And you were over my house and we both literally couch co-opt playing Double Dragon Neon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I distinctly remember us like, well, we didn't beat it. I remember that.
I couldn't beat it alone, so I was like, maybe he's a better chance for the second player.
Yeah. So we played it together but that memory has stuck with me because like we got to do that co-op in the same room together
Right. Right.
and we had a good time doing it. I can't like, you got the online games where maybe you talk to some people, maybe you don't even talk to them. Maybe you're just playing them and, you just have somebody on the other end playing that you don't know. Just doesn't hit the same way for me. So I would much rather prefer a couch co-op, or if we were kids, it would be more of like a floor, you know, co-op. You know, that Nintendo controller was only so far. We would have to
Well,
take the
so far,
off the shelf, put it
Gotta
on
go
the floor
wireless,
so we can get further back.
right?
But nah, yeah, man. There's the other thing too about couch co-op though that is a little different nowadays is like beat 'em ups are super super cool to do couch co-op.
right, right.
But when you get games like Mario Kart like that, you got that split screen, so it kind of feels a little different. I don't know if it feels different to you guys, but it feels different like having a split screen. Like you're kind of doing your own thing in the game and not kind of working together.
Hmm.
So I prefer more of the co-op of playing together as a team and going through like I said, the beat 'em up games were always great. Or even when back in the day we had Super Mario Brothers, you know, it wasn't really co-op, but
Right,
you would
when
play
one
as
person died,
Mario,
yeah,
and
Right.
then my brother would play as Luigi, or my sister would play as Luigi, and then like we would just go back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, you don't get that anymore, and it's a bummer. But the Double Dragon games continuously come out, and those are always, like, super fun co-op games. Like, those
oh
that's the
yeah,
one co-op game, like, throwback, like, you always remember playing because of the beat 'em up style. River City Ransom, that one did it too.
classics,
So
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna
go
say,
ahead, what were you gonna say?
I remember growing up being at my friend Sal's house. I wouldn't really call it co-op, but I guess it would work. I would watch him play games that weren't two-player. I watched him play through Final Fantasy VII. I'd just be on the couch with him, or even he was playing, Chrono Trigger, and I'd watch him play. And when I go home, like, oh, okay, I know kind of where to go because we were playing at his house. Because a lot of times I would go over there and sleep over there for the weekend. So I just enjoyed being on the couch and watching him play the games, and maybe hand the controller off to me and we play a little bit, but just being next to each other and be able to see the reactions and this and that opposed to online. Guess it all depends what era of gaming you grew up in. Maybe
Mhm.
played a lot more online, and it certainly's come a long way from what online used to be. I mean, I used to play Mario Kart on the Wii U, and you could only chat when you were in the room choosing your course. So it was
Oh, wow.
very limited. And then when the race started, that was it. You couldn't talk. So I was like, or Splatoon, like we said, you had to use a phone app to chat
Yeah.
with your friends. So that made so with the new Switch, maybe it'll be a little bit better with that. And I haven't used it much on the PlayStation 5 to play with people. The only few online games I was playing, The Crew was a racing game. So I played that with my friends very briefly, but I never got into the any of the shooters that were obviously
Mhm.
dominate with the online market.
I mean, what about even sports games? You know? Come over,
True.
you play NBA Jam together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You play baseball, you play basketball, you double dribble with 2 players, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
a whole
So many
other
hours
yeah.
of that, right?
So, do you
So is
think
it
do you think it was better than online gaming? Or it is better than online gaming?
I think as a society, we need maybe less online interaction and more in-person interaction because like Russ was talking, just hanging out with a friend and watching them play a game and just enjoying your
Mhm.
time spent with that person.
Right.
I feel like society has turned away from that and we're not just enjoying each other's company in person.
Mhm.
So I think couch co-op, playing games together, being there and being
Mhm.
present with your friend is always going to be better than just yelling at each other over a headset.
It's
Well,
certainly easier nowadays
yes.
having life, kids, jobs. and all this
Yeah.
to schedule a couch co-op where you're like, hey, you want to hop on for an hour online? Way easier to do, or everyone went to bed. I can hop online. You're not going to invite your friend over at 11 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
Let's
Yeah.
do some gaming while everyone's sleeping.
Yeah.
So maybe trying to plan a once a month visit to your buddy's house. Let's order a
Yeah.
pizza. Let's order
Mhm.
Chinese food. Play some
Yeah.
games. It certainly could go a long way. So I think we're in all agreements that couch co-op multiplayer definitely better than online
Yeah.
gaming.
And not only that, I wanna add one more thing is that this past weekend we had Easter, right? We my family went to my brother's house, for dinner, and we have, um our friend Derek is with us, and my nephew James, and my daughter, and James and Derek have a Switch, and Derek, he's a little older, he's, a teenager. He was actually I walk in the room and Kylie is sitting there with the Switch playing, and I said, "What are you playing?" Derek was teaching her Fortnite, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So they're literally sitting on the couch,
Yeah.
they're playing, he's teaching them, and so I think that's another thing of why it's better too, is because you can literally sit in the same room together,
hmm
you could learn
Show
some
some
stuff
stuff.
from
Yeah.
from each other, and it'll help you with your gaming experience as well. So
Mhm.
I think, yeah, couch co-op. Let's go.
Let's go.